I understand for a lot of the SMEs, and we do have a good base of listeners that come from the SME market because they want to get the advice, the insights, and our knowledge. So my advice is to those companies is, there's no reward without risk. Now, if you can say it's easy for me, I risked it all after pandemic. I had a kidney transplant. I wasn't working. I had a few clients and a few contractors working with us. But I was like, well, what's the alternative? Slowly run it down so it becomes nothing. Or the other alternative is actually do something, use my time productively, look at other ways in which I can engage with potential clients, start building relationships with people out there, use my time to improve our LinkedIn process, restructure the company. And we did restructure the company, new website, new focus, specialisms, everything we talked about in the previous 2 episodes, I started implementing and started doing. And now we're in a position where actually we're ready for a recession as an agency. The only thing challenge we're facing is recruitment and getting the right people on board. But I'm not concerned about new business. Not to say that I'm going to take my eye off the ball, but we continuously every month to invest back into new business, invest back into our employees so they deliver great results, which ultimately leads to them building better relationships with our clients, delivering better results for our clients, which they will benefit in the long term. So you might, if anyone turns around and say it's easy to, for you to say just to, spend more as a marketing agency, well, it's what I did. And I'm living off the fruits of that labor 2 years later when I'm looking back at being the best digital marketing agency in Leeds 2021 and 2022. That's no surprise. That is because we, did things differently. And there were bigger agencies around me collapsing at that time and, being impacted. So the cost of living will impact marketing. It's going to impact your business. It's going to impact your employees. It's going to impact it's going to impact that average order value on your website. And it's you as companies to work closely with your marketing agencies, to work closely with your internal marketing departments, to start coming up with contingencies and strategies in terms of, well, if we go into a full-on recession in the next 6 months, what are you doing now to build those relationships and building that pipeline with those customers that might not be ready to buy now, but might be ready to buy later? And it's the same for B2B. I know I've spent most of this talk talking about really e-commerce and B2C because in my opinion, that's what I think is going to be impacted the most. But B2B will be the same, where businesses will, the cost of like fuel, the cost of increase in prices, where especially businesses pay their own, gas and electric, it's going to impact them in terms of, their actual cost, their running costs as a business. So they will naturally look for savings elsewhere. And unfortunately, the biggest mistake most companies make, which sets them back years, is they cut back in the area they shouldn't, which is marketing. And whether that's internal or external, that's the one area you should never cut down on when you're struggling to get customers. You need to focus on, well, how do we attract new customers? How do we diversify? How do we provide more value? And how do we retain loyalty so that when things in the market and economics better and we ride through that difficult wave, we come out victorious on the other side? So I've gone on to a bit of more of a, I don't think this podcast is probably a bit different to what I've done before, but I really wanted to hit home on this one because the cost of living crisis is a crisis that is impacting a number of businesses in a number of different sectors. If you're worried and you're listening right now, then, there are things you can do. There are little tips and advice you can do. My element is focus on what you do well. Focus on building those relationships with those customers, not just short-term, long-term. Be ready to ride out the wave. But one thing you don't do is don't stop communicating and promoting and advertising and build brand affinity with your potential customers who will buy. If not now, they will eventually buy later. Think of the long term. A recession will end. Things will improve. Unfortunately, there'll be a lot of people that will get scorched by it. And let's hope, the impact is minimal. But start planning and implement some strategies and some wider digital marketing strategies or internal marketing strategies in place now that will help you in the long term. I'm going to wrap that up there. I feel like I've covered a lot of different elements there. But if you are worried about the cost of living crisis and the impact that's having on your business or you as an agency or in a marketing firm or your budgets, then drop a comment on the YouTube video, message and reach out to us. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll pick up some more questions up in the upcoming news and roundup episodes. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe across YouTube and our podcast streaming platforms. I'm Manni Singh, or as we're now pushing out, Mr. Bobble.